Once, the United States was the dream destination for the entire world. A land of bright lights, endless opportunity, and freedom, where everyone wanted to visit, study, and live. But that dream is starting to fade. In 2025, something strange is happening. Millions of tourists are canceling trips to America, while more Americans than ever before are looking to leave their own country behind. It's not just about travel, it's about trust, safety, and identity. The US that once stood as a symbol of stability is being seen now as expensive, divided, and unpredictable. And for many, it no longer feels like home. So tonight, we explore both sides of this transformation: why travelers are turning away from the United States, and why millions of its own citizens are quietly planning their exit. This is the story of a nation once admired by the world, and now, slowly, watching that admiration disappear. Number 10. The image problem. For decades, the United States represented optimism, the Statue of Liberty, Route 66, New York's skyline. But over the past few years, the country's image has shifted dramatically. From political chaos and mass shootings to homelessness crises on city streets, the U.S. no longer appears as the safe, polished destination many imagined. Tourists who once dreamed of seeing Times Square or Hollywood now see viral clips of tent cities, protests, and social unrest. Surveys from multiple travel associations reveal a stunning drop in international visitors' perception of U.S. safety and hospitality. Simply put, the American dream is losing its shine. Number 9. The cost of visiting America. Traveling to the U.S. used to be a symbol of achievement, but now it's a financial headache. Visas have become harder and more expensive to obtain, flights cost more than ever, and hotels across major U.S. cities are priced at record highs. Even a one-week family trip to New York or Los Angeles can easily cost more than a month-long vacation in Europe or Asia. For international travelers, the math no longer makes sense. Why pay so much to visit a country where prices are rising and experiences feel restricted by bureaucracy and fear? Meanwhile, Americans themselves are looking abroad, finding that life in Portugal, Mexico, or Thailand can offer more value, better food, and peace of mind for half the cost. Number 8. Safety concerns and gun violence. For many tourists, one word defines their hesitation: fear. Global media now routinely shows mass shootings, school lockdowns, and rising violent crime in the U.S. Parents from countries like Japan, Canada, and Germany say they feel unsafe bringing their families here. In fact, some European travel advisories now warn visitors to exercise caution when visiting American cities. This is a shocking reversal. Once, the U.S. warned its citizens about other nations. Now the world is warning about America. Even Americans admit they don't feel safe anymore, and that's pushing some to search for new homes overseas, where public safety feels less fragile. Number 7. The decline of American hospitality. Hospitality was once America's pride: friendly smiles, helpful service, and warm welcomes. But rising stress, worker shortages, and burnout have changed that. Hotels, airlines, and restaurants across the U.S. are struggling to find staff. Service has declined, wait times have increased, and frustration is everywhere. Many travelers describe the U.S. today as cold or transactional. Instead of human warmth, visitors encounter rushed employees, airport chaos, and digital self-checkouts. The result? A travel experience that feels mechanical, not magical. Tourists are now choosing countries where hospitality still feels personal, like Japan, Italy, or Thailand. Number 6. Political division and social tension. The U.S. has always had its debates, but in 2025, those divisions feel deeper than ever. From heated elections and polarized media to street protests and online hostility, the country feels split down the middle. Foreign travelers say it's exhausting to visit a place where everything feels like a political battlefield. For Americans, the fatigue runs even deeper. People are moving abroad not because they hate their country, but because they're tired of constant tension. They crave calm, community, and stability, things they no longer feel at home. Number 5. Inflation and the vanishing middle class. At the heart of it all is money, or the lack of it. Inflation has hit every corner of American life. Groceries, rent, healthcare, transportation, everything costs more. For families living paycheck to paycheck, even basic comforts have become luxuries. Tourists, too, feel the sting. What used to be a $10 meal now costs $25. A simple coffee can feel like a luxury item. When the cost of living becomes unbearable for citizens, it naturally drives both tourists and locals away. The US is pricing itself out of its own future. Number 4, the rise of global alternatives. Once upon a time, there was no place like America. But now there are many. Dubai, Singapore, Japan, Portugal, and even smaller nations like Costa Rica or Slovenia have stepped up, offering safety, beauty, and affordability. For international travelers, these destinations offer everything America once did, but without the fear, complexity, or cost. And for Americans moving abroad, these same countries provide a softer landing, where rent is lower, healthcare is cheaper, and communities feel closer. The world caught up, and in some ways it moved ahead. Number 3, broken infrastructure and declining quality of life. Visitors arriving in the US are often shocked by what they see: broken roads, outdated airports, unreliable public transit, and crumbling cities. Even major hubs like New York's Penn Station or Los Angeles International Airport struggle with overcrowding and disrepair. The most advanced country in the world feels, at times, surprisingly outdated. Meanwhile, countries like South Korea, Germany, and the UAE have built efficient, futuristic systems. For both tourists and citizens, the decline in infrastructure reflects something deeper: the fading pride of a nation that once led the world in innovation. Number 2, Americans seeking freedom abroad. There's a quiet movement spreading through the country, Americans looking for a new life elsewhere. From retirees in Mexico to remote workers in Spain or digital nomads in Bali, more U.S. citizens are renouncing the fast-paced, high-stress lifestyle and seeking balance abroad. They're chasing affordable healthcare, safer neighborhoods, and simpler living. It's not about rejecting America, it's about finding peace outside of chaos. For many, it's the only way to feel free again. Number 1, the American dream rewritten. And here lies the core of it all: the death and rebirth of the American dream. Once, that dream meant coming to America to build a better life. Today, it increasingly means leaving America to find one. As tourists cancel their trips and citizens pack their bags, one thing becomes clear. The idea of America, the shining example of opportunity, has dimmed in the world's eyes. But maybe this is not an ending. Maybe it's a wake-up call for a nation to rebuild itself, not through power or wealth, but through humanity, humility, and hope. The story of America was never about perfection, it was about promise. A promise that anyone from anywhere could find something better here. But promises require faith. And faith is what's fading, not just among travelers, but among Americans themselves. Still, if history has shown anything, it's that the US has fallen before it and risen again. The question now is whether this generation will find a way to do the same. If you found this video insightful, please like, subscribe, and share. It helps more people understand the quiet transformation reshaping America today.